Hey there, it's Will here. I thought I would go through how you can find sectors and stocks. I've done videos on this before, but wanted to go through it again and update as of August 22nd, 2020. Um, just kind of a top-down approach, how you can sort of focus in on better areas, better sectors and stuff like that. So this is all about probabilities. There's no guarantees. And so it's a little bit hard for a lot of times for people to wrap their head around. They want, certainty 100%. But this is a probabilities game. So before I get into that, I talk about a couple stocks that I've been mentioning in other videos. So one is the Hyliion, and it's through the Shell company, SHLL. So I did a couple videos on this. I mentioned that once we saw this breakout here, it was in an uptrend, not a 100% uptrend because it doesn't have a confirmation at that point, but a breakthrough of sort of a flat in a previously down period. And then what I was mentioning was when we had this pullback, which is pretty common. So you might want to buy up here, which is fine. But for trading, you want to make sure you have a lower risk area to enter. And you started to see this pullback. So I was saying that we needed to see a confirmation, buyers kind of coming in, an up candle. And right here we saw this candle was a down candle initially. You can see the wick came way down here, and then it got pushed way back up. So that was a sign that there was support. And it's amazing, like I put this 8 EMA on here, which I call the T line. It's called the T line, trigger line. It's amazing how often that can sort of be shown as a support. So that was a sign that there was probably going to be support, but not 100%. So, you could have jumped in there assuming that that was a sign of support, but you can see that there was a bit of a down, just this pullback here. So on Friday in the pre-market, there was a gap up. So in the pre-market on Friday, if you have access to that, you can actually buy the stock. So you could have purchased this in the pre-market if you have access to it. And the other condition in the pre-market is the bid-ask spread. So sometimes there's a big spread between the bid and the ask on your, on your system, and that could prevent you from having a good opportunity. But anyways, if we go to a shorter duration, let's see here. It actually kind of came down, was pretty flat, and then you had this slow little bit of a rise here. So it happened kind of later. So this was around 12:30. So it wasn't, after that initial gap, it pushed down pretty good, and then it sort of came back. So there's still interest in this. So anyway, just to show you kind of that I mentioned this, I think it was the 17th, or no, it was the 16th. So you could have got in there. Then when I mentioned the pullback, and then you wanted to see kind of a confirmation. So if we draw this line, because we don't know exactly where it was going to be, we now have a confirmed kind of lower high right there. So that is a good opportunity. And if we look at a similar one, NKLA, I wouldn't be buying this myself. You can see that we had this pullback and it's kind of in a down. So when you draw down trends, you draw them on the top of the candles. So see here, I use the top of the candles, not the bottom. You don't put it on the bottom. So when you're going up, you put it on the bottom. You draw a line across the bottoms of the candles. So that way, hopefully you can see where you have ups and downs. So right here, we don't have a good opportunity. We have NIO. It's coming a bit, from back here we can see there is a uptrending situation, but it's also kind of in a bit of a flat consolidation. So I might take this line. So I kind of want to see a breakout of this situation. Maybe I'll put it up above here. So I kind of want to see a breakout. So what you can do with TC2000 is go right click, set alert, because you don't want to be watching this all the time. You're going to miss it. And then you say when it crosses that line, or you can put it at a price. You also get a text. So that's a great service. If you want to get a free trial of TC2000 or $25 off your purchase, you can check out the link in the description below. I got the gold level, and I also have the US data, so I have real-time stock data for US. If you want to also check out a course on trading for getting in and out and all your management of your trades, stop losses and moving averages and all that, and a great chat room for looking at candlesticks, and if you really want to have instant access to stocks to buy and what to do, that's the Candlestick Forum is a great service. You can check that out. So what I want to talk about is looking at the drill down tab on TC2000. So this is an amazing feature. So if you're trying to figure out what stocks to get, one way to do it is to kind of go top down and look at the sectors. If you noticed, I was just before I mentioned that when I was looking at NIO, this thing shows you all the stocks in that same sector. So you can look at, if you happen to find a stock and you don't necessarily want to buy it, or you're interested, you can find other stocks in that same sector. So you can see here, it's kind of considered the automotive sector because obviously you have alternative energy and electronic computer type situations as well with the software that's in these systems now. But Solo is another one that's in a big downtrend. And then if you wanted to look at the conventional, obviously Tesla they're doing a stock split, so they broke out here, and also a break of this recent high, and you can see we're in this uptrend. So I think hopefully you can see that the way I look at things with the uptrend is very, and the breaks of those trends is a very successful situation. GM has had a bit of news of splitting off their electric vehicle. So right now we're not, we're having this pullback, and we want to see it support somewhere around here. And we're also at the 200, which can be a point of resistance. We also have this high up here. Sometimes you get close to that previous high and then sells off before you get there. Anyway, so we have all these sectors, and you can see here, this is the daily performance. So the nice thing is you can look at the overall sector and see what the situation is. And so you can see here that we broke this downtrend, and we have an amazing uptrend in the cyclical sector since July 2nd. So I'm going to go back to the bottom though. If we look at energy, so what you're doing is you're looking at the sector of all the stocks in that sector, and you're looking for sectors that are in a good uptrend. That'll give you some confidence that the stocks in that sector are likely to do, or to do better than other ones. So if you're picking stocks in a sector that's not great, it's going to reduce your odds of success. But you can still find success, especially if you're using the charts and the analysis. But if we look at energy, you can see just hopefully intuitively that it's not in a great situation. We have a lot of ups and downs, and we can see here we have a downtrend since August 11th. So, energy wouldn't be necessarily the greatest place to look. Basic materials had a great trend going here until there's been a recent pullback. So that's another one that you want to keep an eye on. What you can do is put an alert when it crosses back up over either the trend line or the 8 EMA. So that way you're not really staring at it all the time. So this one still has potential, but there's been a pullback, so you probably wouldn't want to get into that. Financial's not been doing great this whole time through this pandemic, and you can see that it bounced off the 200 here and is in a downtrend. So that's like banks and that type of thing. So you probably wouldn't want to get into that. Now it has come up obviously from the lows, but if you're trading, it's not a great time. Healthcare is a bit flat, but it is, obviously it's been in an uptrend here. But when you have this situation without much movement, you could put an alert when it crosses the trend, this flat line here that I have. But it's not super, it's not a great area. But, within this sector, you have biotech and stuff like that. So, you can pick and choose stocks, but it's a bit of flat right now. So communication, that's been doing really well. There's a bit of a pullback, but I think that, there's a chance if you see a bullish candle and a support that, it's going to be a potential area to get into. So one of those is Zoom, and that's had a good cross of the downtrend here. So as we move up, we're doing better. Real estate is in a bad situation right now. It's in a downtrend. So we had a bit of an uptrend here since July 27th, where we broke up through. And then once we crossed that line and we're in a downtrend. So real estate's not doing too great as a sector as a whole. Consumer defensive has been doing well, but there's a bit of a pullback right now. So I probably wouldn't get into that until I see a break. It's in terms of the overall sector. But there are good stocks inside there. So you can see on the right here. So there's industries within the sector. And then there is the stocks on the right. So even though the sector as a whole, it's actually pretty strong, but there's a bit of a pullback. You can look in to the top performing industry, and that is doing really well. So you have good and bad. And so within each sector, you can find potentially better performing industries. So this discount stores is doing really good. So you've got Target, obviously. I don't know if you've heard that Target's done really well. BJ looks good. Very good uptrend here. So I'm going to keep going up. Industrials, it's had a good run. It's in a bit of a pullback right now. So I would wait to see it break through. Utilities hasn't been doing really well either in terms of the recent trends. Now we have a longer term, uptrend. If we go way back, you can see most things are coming back from the lows. You could also draw it maybe like this. So right now utilities isn't doing great. It's had a few pushes and reversals, and this one here, but not great. So obviously, I keep saying obviously, but hopefully you can see, and that definitely since the lows, the technology has been the best, and also consumer cyclical. So then you go through the sectors. Now you can see here, this is the beauty of this TC2000, is you can see all the industries within that. And you might have heard that mortgages and everything, or home sales has gone up quite a bit. So residential construction, home improvement, because people are at home and they're ordering a lot of things for their home because they can't do a lot of other things. And this is where you see the Toll Brothers, unbelievable, amazing chart. So why do you want to, if you're not into the risk of some of these startups and stuff, like even the Shell, you can look at more traditional type companies, DHI and all that. Unbelievable, really nice uptrends that are pretty basic. You don't have a lot of volatility. Linear is another one. So you just have this really nice uptrend. So you can buy stuff like this and just kind of ride it until, you know, it breaks down. Pulte Homes is another one. So that's incredible. Home improvement. Another one that's been insane is this lumber liquidators. So, you know, with TC2000, you can find really amazing stocks that are going up and not having a lot of crazy volatility that you might not be comfortable with. Home Depot, Lowe's. So that's the consumer cyclical. But technology, if you go to data storage and you look at stocks, you can even see that even some of these have more ups and downs, but there was a good push on Friday for this one, QM, Quantum. Consumer electronics has been incredible. And obviously Apple did a big push on Friday. Turtle Beach is coming back. This one took a bit of a hit, iRobot, but you can see it's coming back. It had an unbelievable run here. So this is where you want to get in on it when you have this uptrend like this. And then once you start to see it, you know, breaking down, you know, you would want to wait to see. When it gets close to the 50, I probably want to see that it breaks past that 50 moving average again. So hopefully, anyways, I just wanted to show you how you can find amazing, and it gives you a picture of kind of what's happening with the sectors. Another tab on TC2000 is called fundamental sector by year. And that is a yearly and a year-to-date chart. So if you sort it by the year-to-date, this currently you'll see technology, consumer cyclical, and healthcare has been pretty good. And basic materials, because basic materials has been coming back. That's like silver, gold, lumber, copper, because we use a lot of copper and lumber in home building. And so this gives you a picture of what's happening, and you can see energy is at -30. So right now, like people, it's not the best area to be in. Financial, real estate, utilities has been really, really bad. So these are the areas that are doing well. Now, at some point, you might get a reversal of that situation, or at least a recovery down here, but you know, it's not quite happened yet. So this is another great tab because you can see historically what's happened. So sometimes when you have a really bad year, like energy in 2015, and then it went up to 33 following year. So this one's very cyclical. But if you look at technology, you had a -8 and almost a 0 point here. Obviously 2008, there was a big crash where everything went down a huge amount. But in consumer defensive, you can see only went down 24 versus 43 for tech, and 41 and 45 for financial services. But the main idea here is you got 61, 16, 11, 35, 10. So technology has been really, really well. Even consumer cyclical, it's only had a few -2 and -2, -7. So, and healthcare has had pretty good runs here. Other areas have had a little bit more down periods, like energy. So, and right now you can see that real estate, banks, and energy utilities, to a lesser extent, are not doing as good. So, all right, guys, hopefully you liked that video. Let me know what you think in the comments. And if you want to pick up TC2000 and get a free trial or $25 discount off of your purchase, I've got the gold plan and the US real-time data, just to give you an idea of what I have. And it's an amazing tool, and hopefully it helps you make a lot of money. See you guys.